Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jagannath, Baladev, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jai Gaurnitai, 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 Jai Gaurnitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bho, Hari Bho. Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Gauda Premanande, Jila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Yuga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai, 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 Gauda Premanande. Is there anything better than this? If you think of something, forget about it. Golokira Premadana Harinam Sankirtan. Ratinjan Milo Kani Upai. It's coming from Golokadam. Carried by Krishna himself. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continue with our text on Prahlad, speaking about the 9 angas of bhakti. This is from Canto 7, Chapter 5, text 23 and 24. Shri Parada Uvacha. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atman Nivedanam, Iti Pumsarpitam Vishnu, Bhaktische Navalakshana, Kriyate Bhagavata Radhya, Tanmanye Ditam Uttamam. Chant.
Swami.
Ladies, ladies. Ladies. Anyone else? Okay. Sri Parada Uvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Shravanam, hearing, Kirtanam, chanting, Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu, not anyone else, Smarnam, remembering, Padasevanam, serving the lotus feet, Archanam, offering worship, with Sada Sopa Charam, the 16 kinds of paraphernalia, Vandanam, offering prayers, Dasyam, becoming the servant, Sakyam, becoming the best friend, Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything, whatever one has, E.T., thus, Pumsam Arpita, offered by the devotee, Vishnu, unto Lord Vishnu, not to anyone else, Bhakti, devotional service, Chet, if, Navalakshana, possessing 9 different processes, Kriyata, one should perform, Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ada, directly or completely, Tat, that, Manye, I consider, Aditam, learning, Uttamam, topmost. Did they turn on the air conditioning? There's some cold air coming in. Where's that coming from? If it's not, don't put on the AC though. I only like one kind of AC. AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. That's all. Okay. He's always cool. That's what AC means. Always cool. Okay. So, translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship, with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming His servant, consider the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto Him. In other words, serving Him with body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the topmost learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So today we are going to hear about Smarnam. First day we spoke about and discussed Shravanam. Yesterday was Kirtanam. Now Shravanam. Smarnam. This is a little bit shorter in terms of its explanation. After one regularly performs the process of hearing and chanting, and after the core of one's heart is cleansed, Smaranam, remembering, is recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam 2:1-11, where it says, Etam nirvidyamananam Itsyatam akutabhayam Yoginam nirpanirnitam Hare namanukirtanam. Translation. O King, for great yogis who have completely renounced all material connections, for those who desire all material enjoyment, and for those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord is recommended. According to different relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are different varieties of namanukirtanam, chanting of the holy name, and thus, according to different relationships and different mellows, there are 5 kinds of remembrance. And they are as follows. 1, conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord. That's a type of remembering. Conducting research into the worship of a particular form of the Lord. As university students, you have to do a lot of research, right? So you can add that one category. It's research about Krishna. Or any of the incarnations of Krishna. 2, second kind of remembering, concentrating the mind on one subject and withdrawing the mind's activities of thinking, feeling, and willing from all other subjects. One-pointed, ekavrata, just focusing on one particular aspect. 3, concentrating on a particular form of the Lord, and this is called meditation. 4, concentrating one's mind continuously on the form of the Lord, and this is called dhruva nusmriti, or perfect meditation. And the last one is awakening a liking for concentrating on a particular form of the Lord, and this is called samadhi, or trance. Mental concentration upon particular pastimes of the Lord in particular circumstances is also called remembrance. Therefore, samadhi trance can be possible in 5 different ways in terms of one's relationship. Specifically, the trance of devotees on the stage of neutrality is called mental concentration. Umagyan timirandasya ganajana salakaya chaksun militamyena tasmai shri gurave nama om vishnu vadaya krishna pistaya bhutale itinamine namaste saraswati devi navani pracharine nirvisesa sunyavari pastyati desatarine Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu pevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 So as has been explained here, these processes, hearing about the Lord, brings about remembrance of the Lord. And chanting the holy name of the Lord also brings about remembrance in the Lord. When you hear about the activities of the Lord, His qualities, His forms, there's a type of remembrance that comes with that hearing process. And then when you chant the glories of the Lord, either His pastimes or His names, qualities, forms, whatever paraphernalia that's connected, or nomenclature, whatever is connected to the Lord, that's another form of remembrance. So when this hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam, becomes concentrated, becomes consistent, then real remembrance awakens. In other words, that remembrance that becomes fixed. The example in the scriptures is Sri Prahlad Maharaj. He never forgot the Lord, despite his father trying to destroy him in so many different ways. All of the methods failed because he was simply remembering the Lord. By remembering the Lord, one is associating with the Lord. And when that concentration of remembrance becomes fixed, then one is in association with the Lord completely. And therefore, one is no longer connected to anything external or anything material, because consciousness is reality. Physical place or place where you may be is not the real place. Wherever your consciousness is, that's where you are. Because consciousness is you. And consciousness is the indication of the soul's existence. So when whatever you place your consciousness on, there you are. There's a story. It's kind of an interesting story. Two boys were walking together, young boys, and they were on their way to visit the prostitute. And while they were passing by, they came across the Harinam Sankirtan party. The devotees were chanting. And one boy said, "Oh, wow, there's the devotees. I'm not going to go to the prostitute. I'm going to join the kirtan." So his friend said, "All right, well, you go. I'm going to the prostitute." So he left, and the boy joined the kirtan. And the other boy went to the prostitute. When the boy was with the prostitute, he was thinking, you know, my friend, he's really intelligent. He's doing something for his eternal benefit. Here am I in such a degraded situation, just wasting my life. I wish I would have went to the kirtan. And the other boy who was in the kirtan was thinking, you know, my friend went to the prostitute, and he's enjoying like crazy. And here I am in the kirtan, but I can't get into it because I keep thinking about I should have went to the prostitute. So who's better off? It's where your consciousness is. It's where your consciousness. So when you focus your attention on something, there's where you are. And when you focus your attention on Krishna or something connected to Krishna, you're on the spiritual platform. So, because it's all about consciousness. When Prahlad was trying to be destroyed by his father couldn't do anything. He was mortified. He was actually flabbergasted. He couldn't understand, who is this boy? You know, I'm the most powerful person in the universe. Even the demigods run from me. And this young little boy, 5 years old, he's resisting all of my attempts. And then, of course, Hiranyakashipu later on said to him, where do you get your power from? And Prahlad said, the same place you get your power from. The same place everybody gets their power from. There's only one place, Krishna. He said Vishnu. Of course, Hiranyakashipu didn't like that and became even more angry. He said, my power is my power. But then he started to challenge his son in different ways. Is your Vishnu? He's everywhere. Okay, then is he here? Is he there? He's pointing to different places. Is he in this pillar? And he took his sword, smashed the pillar, and then he he met the form of death. Sri Nrsinga Jai Nrsinga Jai Jai Sri Nrsinga Balaradesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringam Ugram Virya Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham Nrsinga Vishinam Bhadram Mityam Mityam Namami Aham Sri Nrsinga Bhagavan Ki Jai. So if you remember Nrsinga Dev, you're free from all danger. And you're free from all attractions to illusion. Nrsingadev does that. He has that power. He does three things, particularly, that are beneficial for the devotee. He gives protection from material dangers. Many stories, so many ISKCON stories of how devotees were in the most dangerous position, but remembering Nrsingadev, everything became nice and wonderful. Another thing he does is that when you look at material energy and you start thinking, that's really nice. I want to enjoy that. Nrsingadev, he says, you're an illusion. In other words, he gives you the understanding that the attraction that you're looking towards materially is simply an illusion and has no benefit. And that's another feature of his mercy. He destroys material illusions. And there's so many of them, right? You know, we go on Amazon and we start thinking, wow, what am I going to buy? We don't even know why we're there, but we're just looking for something to buy, right? People do that. Illusion. And then the third thing he does is Om Namo Bhagavate Narasringhayam Nam Namas Teja Tejase Avir Avibhava Rajanaka Rajadamstra Kamasayan Radaya Radaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyasta Om Shram. That's a prayer by Prahlad Maharaj where he's praying, my dear Lord, please enter into my heart and uproot Rajadamstra, Rajanaka, Rajadamstra. You have very sharp nails and teeth, and you can uproot all of our desires for fruitive activities in this material world, which causes us to suffer. And also, Abhayam Abhayam. Please give us fearlessness in the execution of our service. So, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching and also praying what Lord Nrsingadev can offer if we sincerely take shelter of Lord Nrsingadev. So when we remember the Lord, either as Nrsingadev or as Gaur-Nitai, as any of the, what we say, prominent forms of the Lord, there are many forms of the Lord. There's so many Vishnu forms of the Lord, they're also prominent. But the most important forms of the Lord, at least for the devotees in ISKCON, is Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and Radha and Krishna and Jagannath. And Jagannath also, because Jagannath is Krishna also. So these forms we're encouraged to think about or meditate upon, chant the glories of these different forms, the different pastimes, and that helps to bring about remembrance. And remembrance is success. When you remember the Lord, you actually are on the spiritual platform. Hearing helps to remember, chanting also, but when you get to the stage of purified hearing and chanting, then remembrance becomes easy, becomes natural. And then when you chant the holy names, when you say Krishna, the form of Krishna will come into your mind. The form of Krishna will come into you. It's like we're doing kirtan. And we're singing, but we're also, as we're singing the names of Krishna, we're also seeing Krishna in his transcendental form, because the name and the form are non-different. And so that concentration upon the transcendental sound vibration brings about the transcendental form of the Lord within the mind, and then that is perfection. But remembrance has so many benefits, because we always want to remember what we're supposed to do, right? Sometimes we forget what we're supposed to do, right? That happens. Oh, I was supposed to do something, but I can't remember what it was. But as soon as you remember Krishna, he says, this is what you wanted to do. He does that, even for ordinary people who remember him. He gives them remembrance of what they want to do. As he says, Sarvasya chaham hridisani fisto matat smirtir magyanam bohanam cha. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. If you want to remember him, he helps you. If you want to forget him, he'll help you also. If you want knowledge of him, he'll direct you where you can receive that. And remembrance is so complete and so powerful that Prabhupada said, and this is a very interesting statement, as soon as you remember the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no obstacle in your devotional service. Simply remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, that kicks out any of the obstacles that may come in your way of your execution of devotional service. That is the power of remembering Krishna's lotus feet, because Krishna's lotus feet is the embodiment of pure devotional service. When we take shelter of the Lord, we always take shelter of his lotus feet, which is to submit ourselves in the mood of serving the Lord. And serving the Lord starts with the lotus feet of the Lord. And so this remembrance is very, very essential for perfection in Krishna consciousness. It's the most important, because everything centers about remembering. So we have to practice remembering. In our day-to-day life, we also have so many things to do, right? We have our university responsibilities, requirements with our studies and with our activities in our social life and whatever else we're doing. And sometimes we have so many things to do that we forget some of them. So Prabhupada was very practical. He said, remembrance means to remember to write it down. If you get an idea, or if you want to do something, write it down. How many of you do that as a regular execution? Yeah. Ladies are more inclined to do that because they like to remember everything. If you forget something, ask some lady you know, she'll always tell you what it is. Because women never forget anything. Men forget everything. That's a fact. Women have the best, that's why it says in the Bhagavad Gita, of the feminine qualities, memory is one of them. So yeah, but remembrance is the foundation by which we achieve the perfection of hearing, chanting, and even devotees in Krishna consciousness can do some amazing things when they concentrate their minds on Krishna. And then everything becomes more natural and more easy. And then it becomes easy. Just like we were doing kirtan. We stopped because we had to do class. That's the only reason why we stopped, because it was class. But I was thinking, let's keep going. But then I think maybe some people would say, what happened to class, you know? So I thought I didn't want to get criticized. So we stopped. But you know, when you get into the kirtan, you think, is there anything else? It's like you get absorbed. Because Krishna's name is like that. It takes your consciousness above the body, above the mind, above the intelligence, into the transcendental realm. So practice this remembrance, and when you become good at remembering, then you're fixed in Krishna consciousness. No one can divert you. So we have to practice. And as Prabhupada mentions, by hearing and chanting nicely, we actually purify our consciousness where remembrance becomes natural or easy. It's easy to remember Krishna. Okay, we always have a few questions, like hundreds, but so we'll start together with the questions. Okay, this boy with the red sweater over there. Okay, you can stand up. That's you. You're the only one with a red sweater. Okay. Yeah, come on up. There you go. Okay, we'll need to give him the microphone.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you Maharaj for the nice class. Maharaj, you referred this Mahabharata quote where always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. It seems same, like remembering Krishna and not forget Krishna.
Well, in transcendental philosophical explanations on principles, there's always two things. Do this, but don't do that. Chant Hare Krishna, but no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meeting. So there's always things to do and things not to do, two things to avoid. So in that case, always remember Krishna, but don't forget Krishna. So that's philosophical Vedic logic. You might think it's redundant, right? It sounds redundant. But actually, if you can't remember Krishna, at least you can think, I shouldn't forget him. And that helps you to remember him. So this is the way it is. Do this, but don't do that. Go here, but don't go over there. That's the way the Vedas explain principles, giving both the positive and the negative, like that. Hare Nama, Eva Kevam, Kolona Steva Gati. Chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name, and then the opposite. No other way, no other way, no other way. For emphasis, like that. Okay, over here. Okay. We need a few microphones. Do we have more than one? Another one we can...
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Keep one on this side and one over that side. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for the wonderful class. Maharaj, my question is that we remember Krishna in time of like our sadness condition, we remember Krishna easily. But when we are happy, like in sense gratification and all, that time remembering Krishna is little bit difficult. So, how to remember Krishna in that condition?
Your happiness is an illusion. It is. You can't be happy unless you remember Krishna. That material happiness is an illusion. Therefore, it's another form of sadness or suffering. It's explained that material happiness is just one step better than material suffering. So material happiness is a misnomer. There's no such thing. Because you can't be happy in a material world. But, I mean, there is one great poet, he said, there is a drop of happiness in the material world. A drop. And he called it friendship, society, and love. Family life. One small drop. So family life may give you one drop of happiness in the material world, but you want more than a drop, because you want an ocean. When you're in a desert, somebody gives you a drop, you think, he's my enemy. He's making me more thirsty. So when you're in a desert, you're looking for an oasis, but there's no oasis in the desert. So looking for happiness in the material world or feeling happiness is just another form of illusion or suffering. Real happiness is when the heart is connected to Krishna or the spiritual energy. We feel, sometimes what is happiness in the material world? It's a relief from suffering. That's what it is. So when suffering is not there, we call it happiness. But real happiness is one's nature. That is the nature of the soul. That happiness is way beyond just relief from suffering. It's an expression of unlimited joy. So you can study that. My godbrother, Devamrit Swami, said, what was that? He wrote a book, Living...
The darshan, we remember many other things like uncleanness, unclean toilets or unclean areas. How to overcome this?
External features of the Dham that you see, the pigs and the dogs and the garbage and the uncleanliness, is just coverings over the real Dham. There's those who live in the Dham, who understand the Dham. These things that they don't even notice these other things because they're on the spiritual platform. So, of course, to keep everything nice, but still, it doesn't affect the Dham even if it has all of these coverings on it. The Dham remains there. But it affects us because we can't really experience the Dham when we're more focused on the external parts of the Dham, which is what's happening on the visual platform. The Dham is transcendental. The Dham is, Srimati Radharani is in control of Vrindavan. So to see beyond that means to actually see. Mm-hmm. So it can be disturbing, but we shouldn't let it be disturbing because actually it's simply the coverings over the Dham. And there's monkeys, they'll steal your shoes, your glasses. So the harassment you get in the Dham, sometimes you think, and it's cold. If you go to Vrindavan now, it's really cold. But all these are just features of the material energy. They don't touch the Dham. The Dham is transcendental. And when you become a little transcendental, you can see beyond these things. You can experience the Dham for what it is. Mm-hmm. Because it says, and it's true, that every particle of dust is Chintamani. So by rolling in the dust of Vrindavan, you're rolling in the dust of Krishna's lotus feet. Because Krishna went everywhere in Vrindavan. So it says, and just like some persons, when they come to the Dham, they take the dust and they eat it. Because they know this Dham. So when they asked Prabhupada, what is the difference between ordinary dust and the dust of Vrindavan? And Prabhupada said, ordinary dust is what it is, but dust of Vrindavan can fulfill all spiritual desires. So that's the power of the Dham. Even the dust is transcendental. But we're seeing materially or we're seeing externally, and therefore we make definitions based on our personal experiences on the external level. But going into the Dham means trying to worship the Dham by serving the Dham. And then as you do that, you can experience the happiness that is there It's not material. It's Krishna's abode. But if you go to Mayapur, it's a little different. Because it says that in Kali Yuga, due to the effects of Kali Yuga, all of the holy dhams, including Vrindavan, will start to be covered over by the external energy. It'll be very more difficult for people to understand this transcendental nature of the dham, except for Mayapur. They say Mayapur, in this age of Kali, is revealing its transcendental nature more and more each day because of Lord Chaitanya. So, try to see beyond the external. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Where are you?
Either left. महाराज जी मेरे पास हिंदी बोल सकते हैं?
Hindi may.
या जी ठीक है मैं कोशिश करता हूँ इंग्लिश. महाराज जी जिसे कंस रावणा हिरण्यकश्यप is there, all are the demons जितने हैं, they are remembering the Lord. What is that in them? They are not forgetting Lord. Every moment they are remembering Lord Krishna, Vishnu, Ram.
Yeah.
What is them? मतलब what the particle in them they are not forgetting. They are playing for Krishna, Ram. They are doing for everything.
Yeah.
What is the मतलब उसमें कौन सा spark है so that they are
Yeah, Kamsa. Well, the answer is that there are different emotions. And the emotion of anger is one of the most, probably the most powerful emotion. Even more powerful than love is anger. So they keep the emotion of anger towards Krishna. Therefore, that emotion is so strong that it just carries them. They're constantly angry, thinking about Krishna. How to kill Krishna. Why is Krishna doing what he's doing? They're angry. So that anger is a very strong emotion. And because it's directed at Krishna, they're getting purified. So when Krishna killed Kamsa, he got liberation, although he was a demon. So same with Jarasandha. Many of the demons that were killed by Krishna, even one demon, Aghasura, and he not only got liberation, he got Sarupya Mukti. He got the same form of the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets. So they hate the Lord so much that that intensification of that emotion makes them always think of things, they always think of Krishna in a negative way. But it's not bhakti. They don't get bhakti. But they get liberation. It's that emotion is very strong. Why devotees are... But don't get angry at Krishna. Try to love Krishna, that's our program. And love is a very strong emotion also, but it has to be developed. Anger comes fast, and it leaves fast also, can. Love is something that takes time to develop. But Radharani loves Krishna so much, she can't stop thinking about him. She's known as, what's her name? Krishna Mayi. That's a name for Radharani. She's Krishna inside and outside. Everything about Radharani, every part of her body, every part of her paraphernalia, her dress, her makeup, everything is all geared to remembering Krishna and pleasing Krishna. That's all she can think of it. How to be with Krishna how to please Krishna. That's all. So that's an example of love on the highest level. And there's others who also love Krishna. In that love, they can't forget Krishna. That's available for us. Prahlad Maharaj could not forget Lord Vishnu, and he was purified, and he was untouched by his father's attempts. So yeah. So devotees have a favorable attitude towards Krishna, where the demons have an unfavorable. But because Krishna is the object, they also get mukti. Devotees don't get mukti. Devotees don't want mukti. They think mukti is hell. They want bhakti.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji, I have a question. When we are doing certain spiritual activities like taking darshan, chanting and other devotional service, I remember Krishna initially, but later it ends up with other thoughts. So how to overcome it?
Just remember your darshan. If you're seeing Krishna, you're in the temple, you're taking darshan, keep that image in your mind, then later on when you're not in the temple, you think of that image also. You take a mental picture and keep it in your mind. You see the beautiful form of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and you just keep that in your mind, and then wherever you are, you can simply think of them, and then you're with them again. That's the reason why we come to the temple, is to get that image of Krishna in our consciousness, and then we can carry that with us. And at any time you can think of Krishna. Oh yes, I saw the deity. He was dressed like this, and then your remembrance comes back. Yeah. That's Smaranam. That's mentioned here. Concentrating the mind on one subject and withdrawing the mind for thinking about anything else. Okay, next question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, there you are. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class.
I'm glad everybody's telling me to chant Hare Krishna, so thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. I do chant Hare Krishna, so thank you.
Thank you. Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Okay. All right, I'll chant. Haribol Maharaj. Okay, Haribol. Haribol is another form of chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said when you say Haribol, it's a shortened form of chanting Hare Krishna. If you want to say Hare Krishna in a shorter form, you say Haribol. It's the same. That's Prabhupada said that. You can find it on one of his lectures on Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So my question is that we have two situations. That in one situation, we tend to be very mechanical during our chanting period, or we tend to be very passionate when we are doing our material studies, we are into studies. And there is another situation when we are very static, that while during studies also we are doing kirtan, we are remembering kirtan. So how to maintain that trade-off, that we are into what we are doing. So what would you recommend, that, how should we approach these situations? Two situations.
How to keep that enthusiasm when we're away from the kirtan? Is that it?
No, means when we are studying, so there are some situations where we are unable to concentrate in that because kirtan is going in our mind.
Good.
And in some situations we tend to become so passionate that we forget about that we are doing this for Krishna. So at the end we regret that, oh, I forgot that situation because I have to remember Krishna in every moment. So these are two situations.
The more you associate with the spiritual energy, the more you can remember the Lord. That happens automatically. Even when you're away from the association of devotee or even away from the kirtan, you can still think of the Lord. You can also hear the kirtan. And if you're doing your studies, do your studies. That's okay. There's nothing wrong in that. That you committed yourself to learn, so you have to do your best in that area also. But, you know, if you remember Krishna while you're doing your studies become easier. They do. Because Krishna will help you remember. Yeah. So you can't lose. When becoming mechanical means you don't know why you're doing it. That's what mechanical means. I'm doing something, but I don't know why I'm doing it. At least for the moment. I'm just doing it because I was told to do it, because it's my duty, or something. I'm doing it because I have to. That's mechanical. Devotional means I'm offering my devotion, my emotion, my thoughts, my feelings to Krishna while I'm chanting, while I'm worshipping. That's bhakti. When we just do it mechanically or do it without understanding any of the reasons behind it, that's mechanical. So understand why you're doing what you're doing and then apply that concentration to it. Okay, I'm chanting, let me offer this chanting to Krishna for his pleasure. I'm taking darshan of the Lord, let me offer a prayer to him to glorify him. Not just stand there and that's mechanical. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, my question was, as a student, so living in a Krishna Conscious Association, we have a wonderful morning program. But later on, when we go to our college, then we are bombarded with many allurements of Maya, and it is very difficult to remember at that time Krishna. So,
try to carry Krishna with you. That's why we come to the temple. We perform the activities, chant, and associate with devotees. We get saturated with that, and when you go outside, you keep that. At least you keep it to some degree. You don't forget it. And the more you absorb yourself, like just you're here for 5 or 6 days, if you absorb yourself in all of the activities, when you leave here, it'll still be with you. It'll still be with you. And when you make a conscious effort to remember, then you're not so much affected by the mundane atmosphere anymore. As I said, and it's a fact, you are where your consciousness is. You can be wherever you are, but if you're thinking of Krishna, you're with Krishna. Mataji. Okay, stand up. Send the mic there.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Danvat Pranam. So my question is that earlier there was no devotee association or anything, but now because from a very long time there's devotee association, there's prasadam, and everything is like everywhere there are devotees. So the mindset has changed. It's like taking for granted that we have devotees. Theek hai na. Even going to temple and taking darshan feels like a task. So how to get rid of this kind of mentality and
it's mechanical again. We're talking about being mechanical. Why you're doing what you're doing? It's for your spiritual benefit. So do it with attention, do it with devotion. It has some meaning. It's not just something to do because we have some time. Yeah.
And Maharaj, the feeling that, I'm taking this for granted, and then, judging devotees also comes in the...
If you want to get rid of this idea of taking things for granted, when you're associating with the non-devotees, then you will realize how wonderful it is to be with devotees. Then you won't take it for granted. Next time you get the association, you'll think, oh, devotees are so nice, because a devotee will do anything for another devotee. You just ask a devotee, can you do this? Devotee's always happy to do it. Devotees they like to serve others. They like to benefit others. That's a devotee. The materialists, they may also like to do that, but they're always looking for something from that. They're trying to gain something. But devotees, they like to serve. They like to, make other devotees happy. So when you're away from devotees, then you start thinking, wow, I wish I was with the devotees. And when you're with the devotees, be grateful to have the opportunity to be there. Then you can take advantage of that association and not just become what we say, take it for granted. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Okay, there's another lady. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Koti Dandar Pranams. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Please accept my most humble and respectful obeisances onto your lotus feet as servant of your servant. Maharaj, in yesterday's class you said that perfection in chanting and hearing leads to remembrance. And today you said that remembrance is the foundation by which we achieve perfection in chanting and hearing and service.
Yeah.
So how to reconcile these two?
They're both the same.
So perfection in chanting or hearing leads to remembrance, or remembrance leads to perfection?
Remembrance becomes complete through the process of perfecting your hearing and chanting. But you're always remembering to some degree, but it's not perfect. Remembrance becomes intermittent, it goes in and out. But when you become, as Prabhupada says here, he says this here, after one regularly performs the process of hearing and chanting, and after the core of one's heart is cleansed, smartam, remembering, comes.
Okay.
It becomes easy to remember through the pure Shravanam Kirtanam.
Okay. And Maharaj, my second question is, in 9 stages of bhakti, namely Shraddha, Sadhu, Sang, Bhajan, Kriya, Anartha, Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prem. So what does the role of Bhava, plays in the role of remembrance? For example, constant remembrance leads to Bhava, or Bhava leads to constant remembrance?
Constant remembrance not necessarily leads to bhava, but bhava definitely has constant remembrance as included in it. Bhava is affection. It's a preliminary stage of love, but it's not love. It's not perfect love yet.
Okay. And Maharaj, you mentioned about associating with Krishna by remembrance. So what is successful associating with Krishna? Is it constant remembrance at the level of mind? Or is it bhava plus remembrance?
Yeah. Well, when that remembrance is connected with love, then that's perfect. That's perfect. You're remembering Krishna because you actually are attracted to Krishna. You have affection for Krishna. There's some love there. Or you can just remember him without any of that, but it becomes hard to keep that remembrance. Only when affection develops, then remembrance becomes constant.
Okay. And Maharaj, constant remembrance takes us to bhava stage, or by sadhana bhakti we have to get there?
Not by sadhana, that's raganuga bhakti, spontaneous devotion.
Okay, Maharaj.
Rules and regulations lead up to the stage of nishtha and also ruchi. beyond the stage of ruchi, one cannot go to the higher stages unless they're spontaneously attracted to Krishna. And that's called Raganuga Bhakti, which is the second half of sadhana bhakti. When you see the deity, the love in your heart becomes awakened. That's Raganuga Bhakti.
So will remembrance take us to Raganuga Bhakti?
As part of Raganuga Bhakti, but there is a whole process. There is Raganuga Sadhana also. And there's ways to perform your sadhana that allows you to come to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti. And one of the principles is you have to remember an eternal associate in Vrindavan and take shelter of that eternal associate, and then pray to that eternal associate, glorify that eternal associate. That eternal associate will allow you to enter into spontaneous devotional service. That's part of Raganuga Sadhana. That's mentioned. There's a nice book written by Shiva Ram Maharaj. It's called Spontaneous Devotional Service. And then he wrote a second book, further understanding of spontaneous devotional service. Spontaneous devotional service is devotional service. Rules and regulations are just to get you fixed into the process. Until you come to attraction for Krishna naturally, you haven't achieved real bhakti yet.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
All right, good. Thank you. Nice questions. Yeah. Okay. One last question. Last question?
Thank you, Maharaj, for a very
He says
wonderful
last
class.
question.
Maharaj, you mentioned in the lecture that remembrance means to remember to write it down. Whatever we remember, we should write down.
These are day-to-day things that you have to do.
Yes.
Or even if you get some realization, you don't want to lose that realization, you can write it down.
So while doing japa in the morning, we remember so many things. We get some idea or we get some task to do. So should I stop chanting and keep writing, or should I focus on chanting Hare Krishna?
I was hoping nobody would ask that question. There is a reason why you can write it down, and there's a reason why you shouldn't write it down. The reason why you can write it down is because if you don't, you'll either forget it or you keep thinking about it while you're chanting. When you write it down, then you forget it, and you go back to your chanting. And the other reason is that if you remember too many things, then you keep breaking your chanting. So I would say only the things that are essential for remembrance. Because you should think, well, I think it's important now, but it may not be important later. So, if there's something that you know you need to remember, write it down. If it's some small thing, then you could just think, well, when I'm done, I'll remember it. If I don't remember, it doesn't matter. So, there's devotees who do write things down during japa, and there's others who write very little, and there's others who don't write at all. So, I write something down. I always write down, where's my assistant? Where is he? Can't find him. He's a rascal. So, just like if somebody invites me to a program that's maybe a week away, and they send some notice, I'll write it down so That's important, because if I forget that, then that'll disappoint somebody. So when it comes to things that are related to other people, that's important.
And should we remember the services which is allotted to us, or only focus on the chanting of the Hare Krishna?
When you're chanting, focus on chanting. You can remember your services after you're done. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. One of the easy answers to all our questions is that we come to His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj's Kirtan therapy. After we get into the dancing of the Guru Puja, dancing in the Guru Puja, and the Kirtans, absorbed Kirtans, I am sure all of you must be having reverberating Kirtans as you go on through the day. The Smaranam is natural after that Kirtan. So we really thank His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj from the core of our hearts for revealing these wonderful processes of devotional service. Let's thank him by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. So we are continuing the nectar tomorrow, day after and day after. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, devotees can come and take benefit of Maharaj's lectures on this very glorious verse. And we have books by Maharaj. Devotees can take benefit.
Anyone who buys a book today gets Maha Prashadam also. We have a box of Maha to give away. So just say anyone who buys a book today gets some Maha. So he has the Maha.
Hare Krishna. So Maharaj has told that today those who purchase the book, they get a Maha, and that Maha Prasad will be given by our Prabhu who is distributing the book. He will give you some Maha also. Hare Krishna. So our camp classes will start at 11:05 a.m. Please be there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
$350 ऑनलाइन